I don't have some magic spiritual gift that you guys don't all have. That's not the case. The truth is, you guys can all do what I do. I'm literally just a normal guy who does construction work. I'm not some guru spiritual guy who like meditates every night and has to do years and years of like kumbaya to make sure that I can get these messages from spirit.
Because there's something about passing out
Jewelry. Yeah, I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
Does that mean that the closer I get to the event, that the fear's not there? Hell no.
Spot on. Like, he's the real deal.
Because I have to have enough ego to get up here in front of all of you. I have to have enough ego to want to do this kind of work.
But all those things came through, and he was just like, boom, 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 you know.
But the minute I let my ego go too far and it gets too big and I start taking credit for this work, then spirit takes this away from me. All of a sudden the messages aren't accurate. All of a sudden I can't do this work. All of a sudden I'm not good enough. I have to keep my ego the right size. I have to keep it middle size. I call it medium-sized ego. When I put together this show, Medium-Sized Ego, I had this intention of showing everybody both sides of this show, not just the good side, not just the best parts. Again, I always say, if you followed me around and only showed the most amazing readings or the best readings, that everyone would think that I was amazing. And I think that that's the problem with some of these shows that I've seen in the past, or some of these famous mediums that you watch, is that you only see the good stuff. And what that did to me was it made me feel like I'm not that good. I can't do this. I could never be that good. I could never get that kind of information or be that accurate. And so it made me feel like, again, made my ego feel like I'm not good enough and I could never be that good. And so my intention with this show was to show all of you that it's not all good, that there's struggles in between, that it's not all amazing readings, and it's not always accurate. And so in the process of that, I started showing everybody the processes of how I get my information and when it comes in, and so that you guys can all see like how I do it, so that you can realize how you do it. So that was part of the process. But I will admit that during the process of editing, what has happened is when I have a short window of opportunity to show you what I do, I start cutting out the bad stuff and leaving in the good stuff. And so I became victim to this myself. I became victim of this same issue where I just wanted to show everybody the good stuff. And again, I had good reason, right? Like, I have good motives behind this, like everyone does. I want people to watch so that I can show it. Like, I want you guys to like the show first, right? So here's where the ego comes in, and here's where my justification comes in. I want people to want to watch the show first. Maybe I should just show the good stuff first. Maybe I should show them all the good stuff, and then once I have their attention, I can show them the other stuff. And so that's where the justification came in, and that's where the editing happened, and that's where I left a lot of the struggles out. My solution to that is to do a whole show. The whole show is going to be called The Struggle is Real. And what I'm going to try to do in this episode is show you guys the struggles. For every gallery reading where there's 3 amazing readings, there's 1.5, 2 readings that I don't know if they were good, or they just weren't good, or there was struggle, or it didn't flow, or I didn't get confirmation. I'm going to show you that side of it, because I think it's important that you all understand that I am human. I am not getting amazing stuff every time. Am I getting more accurate the more I do it? Yes. But you guys need to see the struggle. You need to know that the struggle is real. The struggle is real. It's not always roses. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And that's the idea behind this episode of Medium-Sized Ego, is to interject back into. So you will notice that in some of these locations, you're going to notice I'm going to show, at least for sure, I know I'm going to show some gallery readings I did in San Francisco. And then I'm going to also show you San Rafael. So I had 3 amazing readings in San Rafael. As a matter of fact, my first episode was based on San Rafael, that exact gallery. But what I'm going to show you now is the other one that happened there. Can I come to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Please.
Okay. Well, I just melt when I look in your eyes. So and this isn't me. Somebody else is melting when they look in your eyes. Do you have a husband who's passed? Do you have a husband who's passed? Male to the side?
Nephew?
Mm-mm. Somebody's melting when they look in your eyes. So that's
And I
not.
don't know.
Okay. Well, I got a male to the side who's coming through for you.
Okay.
Oh,
well.
So it could.
An old boyfriend
That-
years ago.
I was just gonna say this could be an old boyfriend, but they were smitten with you for sure. You understand that?
Yes.
Smitten with you.
Yes.
You were the love of his life, he says, before he screwed that up. Did he die in a car accident or some kind of accident?
I think it was a heart attack, but I don't know.
Okay. Somebody's here. Did the nephew die in a car accident? Is somebody you know who died in a car accident? Like I'm getting like a rolling vehicle. So.
Not that I'm aware of, but I
Okay.
don't know.
Well, don't try too hard. If you can't think of it, then just say no. It's okay. Like I want to hear no because if I'm wrong, I need to know.
I don't think you're wrong. I just am not aware.
Well, that's okay. If you don't know it, then it could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm okay with being wrong. Like you can't do this work and not be okay to be wrong. If I'm not willing to be wrong, that means I'm lying to you guys.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Because this is crazy what I do. Like this is insanity. Like to stand in front of somebody and get some random thing out of the air for you is crazy no matter how you look at it. Like it's almost impossible to not think that way. So if you say yes when it's no, that confuses the hell out of me and it makes it hard for me to give messages. So I want no. I want to know no because it could mean something else. I could be reading somebody else. A lot of things could be. So you guys understand. You got to say no if it's no. Okay. And again, I don't think I'm wrong because I can see it very clearly. So there's a rollover accident of some type or some kind of something like that. And I see big vehicles involved in it too. So it's like a big vehicle and a little vehicle, something like that. Okay. Okay. What are you feeling that for you?
The tow truck and my little car that I'm with.
Yeah. So I might be picking him up because that could be, but I'm going to keep going here. Okay. I got to stay right here. Sorry, I can't do that. If I jump around the room, you guys will all get nothing. I need to like focus back on her. All right, I'm going to your feet. So I go down to your legs. They have me focus on your legs, okay? And then I felt swelling. So when I go to legs and I have swelling, it means they either want to talk about diabetes or somebody with a heart condition. So there's some kind of issue with that. Are you having any of those issues?
I have knee.
No, this is not knee. This is somebody talking about either diabetes or a heart condition. Female. Mom's side of the family.
Could have been my mother.
Feels like mom. Feels like mom's side of the family. Did she have like?
Well, my grandmother. I want to say my grandmother. Yeah, my grandmother. My mother's mother.
Mom's side of the family for sure. But so here's the feeling I get behind this. Okay, I get the feeling of there's warning about an issue, and they want to tell you you need to watch out for this too. You understand? Warning signs around you. So that's the feeling I'm getting with it. So that's what they want. They want to tell you, hey, you might have this condition also. You're ignoring some stuff. Do you understand that?
Okay, yeah.
Like they're telling you you need to be walking. So there's something about you're supposed to be doing like walks. You may have started this once and quit it because I feel like they're like, when they say to her, you're supposed to be doing that walking thing, again, that's a feeling, right? Like it wasn't just you're supposed to walk, it was that thing. So there was a thing, which means she had already started it or she'd already set out to start it and then she stopped it. Do you understand?
Yes.
And again, I asked them to give me something that like you'd know it was them, that you know that they're around, give me something that's specific, like more specific, not so vague, because again, I'm skeptical. If I say vague stuff, I know it sounds vague. I hate vague stuff, right? I want something more specific. So I'm like, give me something more. And they're like, tell her she needs to do that walking thing still. Again, and this goes with what's going on with the legs. Okay. you have grandkids? Do
Excuse me?
you have any grandkids?
No.
Okay, I'm switching gears. I'm all done with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's really weird when something's wrong, right? So like again, you're all looking at me. I don't want to be wrong. My ego doesn't want to be wrong. I don't want to be embarrassed. I want you, you know, I don't want to be wrong. We don't want to be wrong, right? But I got to be willing to be wrong. Because if I'm not, then I start trying to make stuff fit that doesn't fit, and then it's not accurate. And then what happens to me? I can't do this. This isn't real. These aren't the mess. You know, this is not the. You know, I can't do this, right? And my ego will crush me pretty quickly, and it will chase me right out of this building. So again, you have to be willing to be wrong and be willing to stop. All right. This is about a reading I did in San Rafael. So in San Rafael, I had 3 amazing readings, 1 felt awful reading, and 1 that was just okay reading. Now when I put together the show, San Rafael, #1 episode, I put the 3 most amazing ones in there. 2 of them had lots of confirmations right in the moment. And one of them was kind of like, you could tell by the look on her face that there was confirmation, but she didn't really say because it was very deep and very personal. So I showed those 3. What I'd like to show you today is one of the ones that did not go so well. And one of the reasons why it didn't go so well, I believe, is I may have been in the wrong place. I may have picked the wrong person to give the reading to, and information was coming in from other places in the room. Now, I try to steer away from opening it up to like, does anybody understand this? For this reason. It gets very, very hard to read when the energy's jumping around the room. Plus, it's very hard to control a room full of people when everybody's like, that's for me, that's for me, that's for me. And when I was reading this lady and she wasn't getting the information, I had one guy in the background holding up a phone going, it's for them. And I had another lady going, this is for me, this is for me. And the truth is, it probably was. As bad as it felt and as disconnected as I felt with who I was trying to read, it probably wasn't for her, and it probably was for one of those other people. But I have a choice there. I can try to jump around the room and make myself right and make it fit. Or I can try to stick with the person I'm with and try to get the right information for her. And I choose to stick with the person and try to get the right information most of the time. For that one reason, that I don't like the jumping around thing. And another reason I don't like the jumping around thing is because it's real easy to open up to a room full of 100 people and go, does anybody here relate to butterflies? And, you know, half the people raise their hands. And then you can say, does anybody relate to the color red? And then half of those people, you know, and I could easily do that as a fraud, and I could easily do that to get to the information. But to me, it doesn't feel as evidential. It doesn't feel like, hey, this is real. It feels like I just narrowed down the game 20 questions. Do you understand? So I don't like opening it up to the room, but you'll see in this reading that that's what happened. You'll see that maybe I should have been somewhere else. But again, I'd rather just say, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe the information doesn't fit. I would rather be wrong than to allow it to just be drawn around the room. And again, I have a very, very short window of time to make this happen. I have a room full of people who want it to be for them. And so, I want to show this stuff because it's important that you guys see the whole story, not just the best moments. And I made this deal with Spirit that this is what I was going to do. And so that's what this episode is all about. So I hope you understand that this is about showing the struggle, and I hope that you guys can feel that, I don't know, feel something, that you can relate with this, that you can relate with me, and that it brings you in a little closer and you feel like, you know, hey, this is a human thing. It's not some supernatural gift, because I relate with this struggle part. I mean, oh, he struggles too? Yeah, he struggles too. I might be switching gears, but I just saw a cruise ship. You cruise? You don't, right? Is that you? Somebody's going on a cruise right in this area. True? No? Your what?
My parents work on cruise lines.
Okay, we're right here. I saw a big ship. So again, yeah, I just saw the ship.
Yes.
Okay. Again, I don't like to do that. I like to pick a person and go to them. I don't like to jump around because that can be, I mean, I could say anything. Like I could say, like, for instance, how many people here associate with butterflies, right? And like 20 people are going to raise their hands and I could go to you. And then that's, I hate that, right? Because that's what fakes do. And so I try to stay away from that. So I don't like to do what I just did there. I'll make that really clear. But when I'm reading her, and again, you guys noticed I wasn't sure if it was for her because I got this weird feeling of backing up, but I saw a big cruise ship. And so I even said, they had me say before I even said it, I don't know if this is for you. So again, that's a good way for me to know it goes somewhere else. I didn't know that before I said it. All right. I don't know why I'm doing this. See, they make me do weird stuff. Okay. Like my body says doing stuff I don't understand, but this is for you. So I don't know. Let me figure out what this is. It's like, they're like, okay, let's do this. Okay. Who did you say that was? Your parents? Was one of them hard of hearing? Okay, say no. It's okay. No, because it means
not
something else
really.
to me if you say they weren't hard of hearing. Because when they did this, they came up next to you and they yelled really loud. They're like, "Ah!" They're yelling. Okay, so if you tell me they're not hard of hearing, then that means something else to me. It means that they're trying really hard to talk to you and you're not hearing it. That's what that means. And when I was getting this like feeling, that means they're trying to move you. They're trying to shove you. They're trying to get you to do stuff. They're trying, this feeling, this right here means to me, they're trying to make you do something and you're not getting it. That's what that means. You said they worked in the cruise line like for the whole, like a long time.
20 years they
Okay.
taught dancing on cruise lines. Yes.
Okay. They taught dancing?
Yes, they did. Ballroom. That's the movement. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Now I got chills.
Okay.
So now I are making me moves. Like, oh, so you guys don't know this, but I did one of these, and the lady had me ballroom dancing, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm up here ballroom dancing in front of all of
They
you.
taught. Mhm.
So
Yes.
it's the only other time I made a fool of myself in front of all of you like that. Anyway, that's exactly what it
You have
was.
some good rhythm.
Yeah, I don't. I have no rhythm, so that's not me. See. So again, that's another way they work through me is they make me do that. So why aren't you dancing anymore?
Oh. Well, I don't.
Did you never dance?
Yes, they taught me when I was young.
But you do like I see you in cowboy boots, so you're supposed to be like line dancing.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
There's like a push. They're like trying to get you to do stuff. There's something about going out and kind of being on the town and
I think I need to start going out. Yes.
yeah, that's what this means. Like if I see cowboy boots, it means like you're supposed to be going out.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
That's what that means. That's what that means. Are you divorced?
no.
You have a-
Well,
Do you have a husband that's passed?
no. I guess I could say divorce, but that was a long, long time ago.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I see you not in a relationship.
No,
I
not.
see relationship next to you broken. So that either means that he's passed
Oh,
or
it's
that they're not
it's
together. Because when I said go out, it was
40
like
years ago.
yeah. So this feeling of going out is about you getting out and doing stuff because you're just sitting there, and they're trying to push you. You understand that?
Okay.
You do have kids though.
Nope.
No kids?
No.
So then you've made your life about other people somewhere.
Yes.
Because if these aren't kids, then somewhere you've made your whole life about other people.
My mother.
Okay.
I take real good care of. Dad said to make sure you take care of your mother.
Okay.
So
It-
that's just a lot of my time.
Okay. So that makes sense. You're spending so much time taking care of somebody else
Yes.
that you're not taking care of yourself and that you're not going out and being and living. Do you understand that?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I got out.
You did.
Yay!
You made it. Yeah. Okay, but that makes sense. Okay, that
Yes.
makes sense.
Mhm.
He's not down with you
No.
because he's like he's pointing at you like this and he's going.
I've done a great job.
You have done a great job with mom. That I agree, 100%. But you are not doing for you, and you can't do for mom if you're not happy with yourself. And so that's where this issue comes in. So he's really adamant about this. You're supposed to be taking time for you. You're
Okay.
supposed to be doing you stuff
Okay.
because you're getting frustrated with yourself. You're
Yes.
getting and okay.
Just so you guys know, there's two things that are like the most horrible thing that I feel in people. Losing a child is the first one. Like that, when you feel that in somebody, is the most awful thing. The second thing is taking care of a loved one.
Ooh, it's a lot of work. Yes.
It's not only a lot of work, but you can never win. When they die, your job was to keep them alive. When they die, you feel guilty. You're trying to take care of them. It's very, very difficult. You hate yourself for the way you handle things sometimes. You never think it's right. You never feel like it's enough. You don't feel like you did it right. There's always those feelings that come and go and come and go and come and go. So there's never like a great ending in it. Okay? There's not.
Right.
So the truth is that you have to make sure that you're feeding yourself too. Your life cannot be about taking care of somebody else. It has to be about you making yourself happy also. Then you can take care of other people. You can't truly share with anybody unless you're happy with yourself or you know yourself. And you've spent way too much long making this about her. So this must be going on for a long time with mom.
About 8 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Right.
long time.
Yeah.
Now, is she losing mobility? Is she having a hard
No.
time? She's still moving
No,
around?
She's 95 and
Does
still
she-
running around.
Does she have like is there a hip thing? Did she have her
No.
hips replaced?
No.
Okay, so
She's still dancing. Seriously.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's when this mobility issue comes up, that's when it's gonna be really, really difficult. And
Okay.
when the mobility issue comes up, like you've got to get help. You can't do this by yourself. You could. He corrected me. She could do it by herself, but she shouldn't. She needs to get some help. So again, this is not yet.
She's somewhere where she's in help
Okay.
now. Yeah.
So she is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. So then he just said thank you again in sign language. So again, he's telling you thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So when he passed, did you go visit him?
I was with him.
You were? Okay. I wasn't sure because he didn't quite give it to me yet. I was going to ask you next.
Mm-hmm.
But so then that also means that you were going and coming and so he must have been there for a while before he passed. Is that correct?
Dad was living at home with mom. Yeah, I quit my job and moved in with mom to help.
Okay.
And I was right there. I was there holding him.
Perfect.
Right when he died.
So
Yeah,
again,
with mom. Yeah.
he's saying thank you. And it wasn't just for that last moment. It was for before that. It was for the coming and going and being there and
Took good care of
and
him.
taking good care of him. Do you understand?
yeah.
And,
Oh.
and he's saying thank you, thank you, thank you. So but before he showed me the last moments, he showed me that you were taking care of him. So you didn't just show up at the end.
Oh no.
Okay. You understand?
I lived there for about 8 months before.
And again, this is one of the best things Spirit says that we do for them to
Yeah.
take care of them at the end of life. That they appreciate it more than anything else. Like Spirit holds you very, very high on a pedestal when you do these kind of things. Okay, that's the truth. Like
Oh.
it makes you very, very, because it's sacrificing your own life.
It is.
It sacrifices your life force. That's what he just said. Like your life, like you're part of your soul. Like you're literally giving up part of that to take care of another human being at the end of life. And they hold you on a pretty high pedestal for doing that. Is the best way I could explain it from Spirit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I just want to say real quick, one of the things that happened in that reading that kind of messed me all up was she said her parents worked for the ships, right? For the cruises. And then when she said that, I assumed they were both passed this whole time. So the whole time I was assuming her mom was passed. That's an assumption I made. So that's why I kept messing up all that information that was coming through, because I made that assumption somehow. I mean, I don't know if it's because she gave me that information. See, this is where when I have some information, it like messes me up. And because most of the time it's not even right. Like I just thought that's what I heard. I don't even know. She just said they used to work, and so I just assumed, because I felt like one of them was passed, but I assumed they both were gone. I didn't know her mom was still alive, and that's why I was messing up the rest of the information, because the dad was trying to show me that she was taking care of her. And I kept getting stuff like, you're not taking care of yourself. You're focused on like taking care of your kids. Well, it wasn't her kids. It was her mom. Like, see, so I messed all that up because I made an assumption on what I heard, what I thought I heard. And so that's where like my own thoughts and my own ideas get in the way, and what you guys say. So you got to be really careful with the medium of even giving them any information, because you're feeding, like they call it feeding the medium, like, but it's not there's two things. People who are fakes or cold readers will take that and then use that information to try to make you feel like it's a message when it's not. You don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want people to think that way about this profession. The second thing is you're going to give them it's going to mess it up. Like that would have been an amazing reading if I did not butcher it by assuming that her mom was passed. You understand? Like, that's me. I was wrong. They weren't wrong. They had it right. You saw the way it went. I kept trying to get to it, and I was assuming it was children. I was assuming all of these things. But the truth is, like, all because I made that assumption, and the assumption was wrong. All right.
Sometimes when I'm doing a gallery reading, things can get in the way. Things can get me sidetracked. In San Francisco, I was doing a reading, and I made an assumption that her mom was passed. And so all the rest of the information that I was getting wasn't making sense because I was assuming that her mom was passed. And by making that assumption in the beginning, it messed the whole reading up until the very end when I figured it out. And by then it was a little too late. Yeah, I decided to sit down because I just feel like when I try to stand in front of a camera and talk to you guys, it just doesn't come out as smoothly as when I'm in front of a crowd of people. And I thought maybe by sitting, I might be a little bit more relaxed and maybe sit still because I have a problem with that. If you'll notice, I rock a lot while I'm reading. I move back and forth a lot. And again, it's just part of my process, so I don't try to correct it. You know, I try not to think about it, but it is part of the process for me. One thing that I've learned doing this show is I'm watching a lot of video of myself reading, which I've never done before. And two things. First of all, I don't normally remember readings, so going back and watching a lot of readings, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning some signs and symbols that I didn't know that I was using. I'm learning how things work for me sometimes when I didn't notice before, which has made me more accurate. For instance, a lot of times I'm struggling to know, like if I get two males that appear and I can't tell if it's a man or I can't tell if it's a boyfriend or a husband or a dad. Sometimes then I'm like, I can't tell. Well, when I can't tell, and I say that to myself several times, a lot of the times it's both. And I didn't know that until I watched back video on several occasions when that happened. It ended up being both. So that's something I learned by doing this. The other thing that I wanted to say, I forgot already. Oh, what's really interesting is like all the weird motions that I make. So I do this a lot, which I already knew I do this a lot. This is I don't even know what this is. I used to just do this and this. And like I do this thing where I hunch my back over. It's no wonder my back is killing me after doing readings because I'm like hunched over. And so these are all like little quirks that I didn't know really that I was doing because in the moment I'm not paying attention to that. But when I'm watching it back on film, I'm like, oh God, do I really look like that? So here's the question. Like people are like, well, you need to stop moving around as much. Like, you know, even my mom, she's like, well, one thing you should probably try to sit still. And I'm like, no, that's my process and that's how I get my information. And I don't want to correct it. And even if I look silly, and even if, you know, if I'm standing in front of a room full of people doing weird things, you know, that's okay. I want to show people that that's okay. I don't want to change that. I don't want to, you know, it's not like I planned to do it. It's spirit-led. It's part of my process. And if that's what I have to do is stand in front of you and make weird motions to be able to help people, then I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. It's part of the process. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Medium Sized Ego. My hope in sharing with you my process and how I get messages from Spirit and how I share them with other people is so that you can all see that this is obtainable. This is not some magic special gift that only the select few have. That's just not the case. Anybody can do what I do, as long as you keep your ego right-sized and practice. So my hope with sharing this with you is that you heard, saw, or felt something today that opens your mind, opens your heart just a little bit to allow Spirit to work its way in and maybe just for a moment make you believe.